getting into AI now, especially with how good it is, and it's only going to get better. Like, depending on how you generate it, you can already make a video that looks authentic. So it's like, what's the next step? I think we're gonna get to a point to where, you're launching ads on Meta or TikTok, and it's gonna automatically like generate winning creatives for you. I think it could get that crazy.
Guys, we're in Miami. We just fucking time traveled. I'm with my man, industry legend, under the radar, Chris Groves.
I met Manny at a conference back in 2019, and we decided, hey, let's try this. Like, you're really good at creative, I'm really good at creative. We have a lot of experience. I've been in the industry since 2015. And so we started working together, and everything just kind of clicked.
What was the impetus to start the agency?
If you're just generating leads on the affiliate side, there's some value there, but the value is not the same when you actually build your own book of customers. And I think when we heard that, we realized, like, we've been doing it wrong the whole time. We've been spinning the wheel, but going nowhere.
You guys have been doing this for a long time, right? You can pinpoint one or two specific things that allowed you guys to thrive.
What makes successful going into anything is just like the creative,
Yeah.
That's everything.
I think one of our issues has been this remote. I'm missing the whole, that face-to-face.
Having the office, one, you create like a bond with the people that you work with. It becomes more of like a family, right?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, like, you're able to solve problems in real time.
We always say on the LFG show, success leaves clues, right? What are good resources for you in terms of help you kind of stay ahead of the curve? Newsbreak is the fastest growing local news app in the United States, with over 50 million monthly and 16 million daily users checking in throughout the day. When you sign up, the Newsbreak team reaches out with white glove service to get you onboarded and making money right away. Up to $5,000 in matching ad credits, quick account approvals, and dedicated account management to help you find early success. To learn more and sign up, check out the link in the description below. Don't waste time. Sign up now and let's fucking go. All right, guys, listen. I'm fucking pumped the fuck up. I was here, actually, we're in a different spot. I'm with Leeds Icon Better Ways. These guys doing big motherfucking things, representing big time. Well, I'm in their call center right now. We did an interview with Manny Perez. When was it? A year and a half ago that shit was? And that's when they were setting up their call center. They had a bunch of empty cubicles. Now we're in their office. They're overlooking the Miami River over here. And we got Chris Groves. We came all the way from Arizona here. Guys, congratulations, man. I really mean to the bottom of my heart, man.
No, we're excited, and we're glad that you decided to stop by, and see exactly what we're doing, because I think we're pumped. We're all excited about this project. And, we just moved offices because we're actually expanding.
Yeah.
So we had another office. We've been in here for about 7 months. And then we opened up another office in Arizona, which is completely focused on creative.
Yeah.
And so we have producers over there, some editors in-house, and then we also have some of our team outsourced between Argentina and Colombia and whatnot. So we've been expanding.
Yeah, and this is great because I just came from Geek Out. I saw Manny there, when was it, a week ago, 2, I don't even know when it was. And they always put on great events, right? And there was a speaker there who, he just talked about going beyond just being a lead generator, and what Adam Young talks about, breaking the affiliate curse. So you have a real business, right, that has good, what do they call it? Enterprise value, something that you can sell, right? And that's producing residual income and whatnot. And what you guys, I feel like that's what you're doing. You have both sides. You got the lead gen side with Leeds Icon, and you have Better Ways around the agency side. So I think this is amazing. I think this is very inspirational, because I want to go into the whole thing, how you guys got here, what's going on, and to see how you had an empty cubicles to this. I mean, that makes me fucking excited. I love seeing stuff like that. So I'm glad we could share that with the audience.
So you want to hear kind of our story?
Let's hear the story of the whole thing, man, because I think it's inspirational, right? I mean, we all get into lead gen to make money, right? And we know the kind of money. And I know, from guys like Peter Day, man, they look at you, and Peter Day and his brother Tyler are fucking legends. They look at you as one of their fucking inspiration. They went to one of your like coaching classes or like masterminds or something, right? So
yeah,
I mean, I think you guys have a great team. So I want the audience to hear all about this.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is. It's about having the right partners. I think when you go in business, you want to make sure that you align with the right people. So I think where a lot of credit goes is just the alignment that we have between myself, Manny, and Olivos. Like, we're very aligned in everything that we do. And we're also very different too. We're able to basically accomplish more because we have different outlets. Like, I'm really good at creatives. I can focus on that. Of course, I can do other things. Olivos is very good at analytics, media buying, and then Manny is really good at, making connections. Like, that is his superpower. I think that is what makes him unique, and the way he's able to negotiate with the buyers, put all this together. So all of us coming together, we have that synergy, and that's kind of how we got here. But going back, I mean, we met just at a conference back in 2019, just a normal Affiliate Summit East.
Wow.
In New York. And we were sitting at a table, and, I was basically a solo affiliate at the time. And, just doing big numbers on my own, and we were talking about landing pages because I like to give tips and share value, as long as I'm not like giving away too much secret sauce, but you can always give tips that might help someone like, hey, try split testing. Have you tried changing out the colors, red buttons, blue buttons, just little tips that I know he probably implemented and it probably, made a difference in his business. Because if you can get 10 more people, 10% more people to convert on your funnel,
Yeah.
that's going to multiply, especially when you're generating tons and tons of traffic. We connected really well. They had their own thing going. And then, I went from basically working solo for a while up into, working with another business partner that didn't work out. And then we crossed paths again and we decided, hey, let's try this. Like, you're really good at creative. I'm really good at creative. We have a lot of experience. I've been in the industry since 2015. And so we started working together and everything just kind of clicked. We kind of filled each other's gaps.
Yeah.
And before you know it, they're talking about wanting to open up an agency because we had went to another conference where we kind of learned, hey, we need to build a real business. We have the skill set. We know how to drive leads. We know how to drive calls. We're already doing it. Big volume. We're doing great on the affiliate side. Like this year right now, we're pretty close to hitting 50 million in revenue.
Wow,
Just to give it, yeah, it's a huge milestone.
Yeah.
Breaking records. But all of this is because of the journey we've taken to get here. And I think a lot of it is the team we've built. I can't just sit here and take credit myself because all of us have built like a really amazing team. We have like over 30 agents here, just on the Better Way sides, and then Leads Icon, we have over 60 people right now between Argentina, Colombia, and editors, creative producers, and then we're building out in Arizona. So we have a lot of stability. And I think a lot of the stability comes from hiring really, really good people. So it's crazy just to think that we started, a lot of us just started solo. Like even Manny started with a Shopify store. I started just, doing like CPA by myself, just grinding on the computer all day. And then you realize that you can delegate and teach people to do what you do within your company and then actually build something on the back end, which is what we're doing here at Better Ways right now.
Yeah. So there was a lot to unpack, and that was great. It's an amazing story, right? And so what was the impetus to start the agency, right? What was it? You heard someone speak about it? It sounds like you guys went to a conference or something like that. Because
Yeah.
I think that everyone has that dream, right? Because the lead gen side to me is almost like that quick money, right? That like addicting dopamine rush, right? But then at some point you gotta have it goes up and down, and no campaign's gonna last forever, right?
Yeah, you have your ups and downs, and that's what it was. It was the stability, but like we were just hearing about honestly people building crazy books, like books of business with, tons and tons of customers on their books. And it's like, wow. And then you really hear like what the exit value is, the EBITDA on those books. Like when people exit, you're hearing people like exiting in the space for 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, just crazy numbers, right? Like, and it really just opens your eyes that when you build something real, like you can't really do that on the affiliate side if you're just generating leads. There's some value there, but the value is not the same when you actually build your own book of customers. And I think when we heard that, we realized like, we've been doing it wrong the whole time. We've been spinning the wheel, but going nowhere.
Yeah.
So now we basically said, look, let's build a foundation, which is Better Ways here. And let's actually take our skill sets, which is, from the lead gen, the traffic generation, and let's apply it over to something real. It can't be that hard, right? If you look at it, a lot of companies are backwards. They have the agency, but they don't know how to market. We have the marketing experience, which I think is the most valuable thing you can have in any business. I think when you master marketing, think about this. If you can generate customers, you're never going to go out of business, right? Like it's always what actually causes a company to go out of business is the lack of sales or the lack of customers. So if you already have that side of it, this side is actually a cakewalk. Well, I'm not going to say exactly a cakewalk because there's been challenges, going through and, you're learning, learning different things, the struggles, the compliance. I think that's probably the hardest part of this side of the business is compliance.
Yeah.
You have to get that dialed in because you could really, you could get shut down, when you're dealing with the type of, when you're dealing with the government, CMS, things like that.
Yeah. Well, again, a lot to unpack there. When I first met Manny, talking about him being a good connector and everything, I had spoken of all things about debt, the debt vertical. I spoke at Affiliate World, when was it? Fucking 2023 in Barcelona. And after I spoke, he came up, he waited for me to get off stage. He came up to me like, yo, I've been following you online, da da da. And I love this energy. And then we connected, became really good friends. Like our wives hang out together. It's a beautiful thing, right? And back then you guys were putting up massive fucking numbers in debt, man. I remember one day I think showing me the ring, but it was like fucking like $100,000, something crazy. I didn't know anyone. You guys are killing Spanish debt, English debt. You guys have debt, guys. And
I think we're generating like 15,000 calls between, but we're also running ACA too. I think that was between everything.
Yeah, I didn't know anyone doing it at that kind of, and I knew guys that are doing maybe half those numbers, but you guys were the guys at that, which was crazy. And I think at one point you guys were looking to like, I guess, get a bigger piece of the pie on the debt side, kind of like what you're doing now, but on the debt side. So it was, am I right about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But why did you focus on, because on the Better Way side, what is the focus main? Is it ACA right now? Is that the focus?
We're
And why did you not stick with debt? What made you decide to go on the insurance side?
Yeah, yeah. So good question. We're doing a little bit of ACA, Medicare, so mostly insurance, and then we're probably going to do a little bit of auto on the agency side here.
Hmm.
Um, the reason why we didn't go into debt is because we were mostly hearing, when you go to these conferences, you kind of hear what other books people are building.
Yeah.
And ACA seemed a little bit more lucrative in the way that it was set up and structured. The way that debt is, there's a lot of complications on the back end with debt. Like there has to be certain, debt load amounts. So it's a little bit harder to dial in, I think.
Yeah.
So I think to answer your question, ACA is just easier to dial in because a lot of people were already doing it. So it's kind of already like proven.
Yeah.
And instead of going into something new, I mean, we were doing great as an affiliate, right? Don't get me wrong. But on the back end, we were hearing that ACA was a really good back end. And that's why we decided to go that avenue because I think it would have been really difficult if we would have chose like another vertical that would have had a more difficult back end and maybe we would have not done as well or had more hurdles to go through. So path of least resistance.
Yeah. And also, though, I think when you guys first started, or maybe it was like really quick, like soon after you guys started, maybe 3 or 4 months, 4 months or 5 months or 6 months, where there was regulation, right? On the ACA, there was new rules that came in place. And what I find interesting is that a lot of people were getting out of ACA. They're like, oh, this shit's too hard. It's getting too complicated, blah, blah. But you guys dove head the fuck in.
Well, we got in right before that. We got in right before that. So we're already like, well, we're here.
And what exactly was that again? What happened?
So there was a whole thing with the way that you needed to have basically third party verification through CMS. They wanted an actual CMS agent to verify the customer. So it was an extra step. And so you could go from generating, like pretty much 2 to 3 times as many sales per day to that was just cut in half, overnight, which affects your CPA. It affects how happy the agents are. Because imagine the agent cannot close as more because they're having to get on a call with CMS and go through that whole process. It adds like an extra 7 to 15 minutes per person that you're trying to close.
Yeah. So how did you guys deal with that? I mean, like, I feel like when you're a real strong, Manny Zuccarelli spoke at Geek Out, and he was like, "Listen, man, this shit ain't for the faint of heart." There was days where he was praying to God.
Yeah.
When he thought he was gonna go out of business, living like, week to week, man. And one client better fucking pay on time, right? And now he's built his machine, right? But like, I feel like the unexpected comes out of nowhere, man. How do you guys feel like, oh fuck, we fucked up? I mean, what went through your minds during?
I mean, when that happened, we're like, we understand why they did it. There was a lot of shady stuff going on in the ACA space, the way that people were enrolling customers and, like they were doing a lot of shady stuff that you're not supposed to do. And that's why they had to, go with the compliance. So we kind of saw it as a good thing. Like, okay, maybe the compliance will be a good thing. It's going to take away some of the bad actors in the business, which I think it did to a point. But, we had to navigate through it, and it's something we had to adapt to. And, we had to make adjustments with some of the commissions on the agents. You have to adjust. In any type of industry, you have to be. And I think that's actually what makes you strong in business is when you go through these pivoting points that makes you, it makes you stronger, right? Because if everything is easy, then everybody would be doing it, right?
100%.
So when there's challenges, you have 2 types of entrepreneurs. You have entrepreneurs that would just like close shop. Those are the ones that go out of business, or you have entrepreneurs that are going to figure out how do they solve the problem, right? And so that's always been our mindset. Just like even to this day, we have a problem, me and Manny get on the phone, or all 3 of us get on the phone and we figure out how to solve it. Like one of our problems was hiring agents. So we figured out how to solve that too. We actually put an ad on Facebook, just, calling out people with specific licenses that we needed. And that allowed us to recruit. So, that's a problem. A lot of people would be like, well, what do I do? Do I go on LinkedIn? We tried pretty much every job posting site, but what actually worked the best was just running a Facebook ad, calling out the type of person we needed, and we were able to fill our hiring. So I think in business, when you have a problem, you have to just be willing to, get together and find a solution, even though it can be scary sometimes. That's what's going to push you to the next level.
So let me ask you this, right? I'm seeing this happen in solar right now. Solar's gone through the fucking ringer, man. It's been nuts. But what I'm seeing now is that so many people exited the space, right? That the ones that have survived are actually, like I talked to,
Thriving, right?
Yeah, they're thriving, man. I mean, especially the smaller, more nimble. I feel like the ones that are really top heavy with a lot of operating costs, like cost of goods and operating OpEx, those are the ones that really got fucked. But the ones that were nimble that had maybe 5, 10, 15 people, they're the ones that are doubling, tripling right now because they're able to, especially some lead generator, like you're able to acquire these leads now for 50% off what it was before because so many people exited.
Less competition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you see that happen during this whole thing too? When
Oh yeah, like
yeah,
when people went out, dude, the cost went down.
yeah,
So what happened is it kind of balanced out. You had a lot of people scared not enter the space, and then the adjustment doesn't happen right away, right? It takes some times. It takes some times after any big change happens for the cost to adjust. But we noticed it was cheaper cost per click, cheaper leads. So it kind of balanced out. We were able to kind of get the CPA close to where it was. Not exactly. It was honestly lower before the whole compliance thing, but
yeah,
still worked.
yeah,
So, I mean, I think that's the same thing with solar or in any business. It's kind of like when the market dips, a lot of people are like scared to buy, but that's actually the best time to buy, right? You want to buy the dips. You
yeah,
don't want to like, as you're like, everything's going well. And that's going to happen with ACAs. Everything was going well. And I think everybody was piling on to ACA. And that's why there was a bunch of people doing some shady stuff in the way they were enrolling their customers because they just saw it as easy money, as a cash grab. And some people were treating the business that way versus like a real business. And, ACA was here at top and everybody, there's all the hype around it. And then, change happens and then ACA goes from here to here. And then, a lot of people in the dip hits, they bail
mm,
or, that's really the best time to get. And, that's where the most opportunity is created because kind of once you hit a dip, the only way is back up.
yeah, yeah. It's like stocks, man. It's
Yeah.
very similar.
Business, I think, is the same thing. Even I think every industry has cycles, like even refinance. Like think about this, rates hit a high, they can only go so high before they have to come back down, right? And then what's going to happen when rates go back down? Everybody's going to want to refinance.
Yeah.
So I think every business has cycles, just like the stock market.
Yeah, and so what do you think helped you weather? Because there was a bit of a storm right now. I think you guys had a competitive advantage in that you guys have been doing this for a long time, right? You guys have you know how to market real phenomenal media buyers, right? I think you're like it's almost like a three-headed monster, right? Between in a good way, right? Three-headed
Yeah.
monster, and you guys have your own strengths. I mean, what do you think if you can point out pinpoint one or two specific things that allowed you guys to survive that period of time and now thrive? What would you
Yeah.
say? What?
I would say definitely have to give credit to, our director of operations here, Santi. Like he's really good. And then I think obviously creative too, right? Like going to the marketing side, the creative, like that's kind of been our secret sauce. And I think that ties into everything we market. What makes a successful going into anything is just like the creative,
Yeah,
that's everything. But on the back end, definitely like Santi and, his processes in place that we have here, being able to adapt and make changes, kind of on the fly, especially with, and getting that out, communicated to all the agents in a timely manner. So you're all on the same page.
yeah,
That's more of like the back end side.
that's cool. I was going to say something too. When you guys first started the call center, I was a little nervous for you guys. Like when I came to that,
Yeah.
when I interviewed Manny, because call centers are it's hard.
It's hard.
You're
Yeah.
doing it.
I'm not going to say this is easy by
Yeah,
any means. Yeah.
yeah, you're dealing with a lot of personalities. You're dealing with you, and that's why everyone wants the ideal thing for everyone. They want like an AI. And that'll work to a certain extent, but I think there's nothing like when you have a real good call center, you build a good culture, and I think you guys have done a great job with the culture. I mean, I know how you guys are. You guys are generous. You guys treat people well. It's who you are, right? And I think that's why you guys have had success going fucking Argentina, Colombia, Miami, Arizona, like wherever you guys go. I think because maybe that's like a core tenet of that. I mean, what's your feedback?
Oh yeah. I think absolutely. I think like I'm very hands on. So like obviously I'm out here this week.
Sure.
And I'm like helping where I can provide the most impact. Like we have a content, we have a girl we just hired that's doing the content and creative kind of organically for our organic strategy with Better Ways. So I've been able to sit down and just like help her go through, like some tips and strategies just from all my experience. And then, the office in Arizona, I'm literally there every day in the grind.
Yeah.
Like I don't put myself above anybody. I'm there, doing the work too. And just like helping try, hey, how can you make this better? Do this, try this. I'll go out, help them still shoot content, guide them. And like, I just want them to keep getting better. I think a lot of it is being hands-on. Some people can just be like, sit back and be like, oh, I hire employees, let them do the work, let them figure it out.
Yeah.
Now I'm more like, there's two types of leaders. I don't know if you've ever seen that like graphic. There's the one that will like, be sitting on the chair and then
Yeah.
kind of whipping them like they're the slaves. And then there's the leader that is pulling them along with them. And I think that's the type of leadership we have. To sum up kind of what your question was, is that we're like there in the trenches, pulling along, solving the problems with them and, coming through, obstacles. And I think that's what makes a great leader.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I think another attribute or the reason for the success was hiring, right? And you guys, I remember, and this made me feel better. 'Cause, I care about you. I know Manny. Want the best for you guys, man. It's just fun. It makes me excited to hear this shit. So when you guys started the call center, I remember he told me, yeah, we got somebody. to run this thing, because that's really the key, is having a good call center manager or so, a director, whatever you want to call that person, that
Yeah.
knows the
Director
KPI,
of
knows how
operations.
to manage people. It's a key element. I've spoken a lot about this, and you could have fucking good sales scripts. You could have a good product, good this and that, good marketing, good leads. But if you don't have that person there, it changes. It's going to go to shit. That's the biggest piece of the puzzle. And I think when I heard that, I'm like, okay, that it should work. And there was no. I think that's a key. Your hiring
Yeah.
and the ability to do it. I think that culture, them seeing that, makes them want to work for you.
I agree. I think when you hire, like, you still want the office to run if you can't be there that day for whatever
Yeah.
reason. So you need good leadership. And in every office, that's what we've kind of positioned is you want good leadership, someone who's responsible, someone who's going to put in the work, someone who basically treats it like it's their own business, right? That's the right person. I think we have that for sure. Definitely in the Better Ways office. I think in the other offices, we are working on that. It's just building the foundation. But that is so important in a company, that way if you're not there, like it will still run and things can still be, you still want a quality of standard, right? Whatever side you're doing, whether it's creative, whether it's here at the call center, you want to make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to do. But I agree. I think that's super, super important.
Yeah, I think also, if you don't mind talking about this, is I think the way you structure the deals, where you guys aren't cheap. You're not. I think a lot of people are looking to cut costs and pay the least they can pay, which, I mean, I get there's some merit to that, but like, yeah, I remember when you did, man, tell me a bit about the deal. Like, you structured a deal where it made sense. Like, the person was incentivized to drive sales, right? And I think that really was an ingredient, because I talked to a lot of people, and it seems like 90%, right? They're all about, let me get the cheapest, whatever that comes out to, right? But you were the opposite. Let's pay, maybe overpay on the front end, but it's going to come back to us.
Oh yeah, like on the calls or the
Yeah.
leads.
And of course, like when you
Yes.
hire the director, and it seems like you guys weren't afraid. You saw value, like, oh,
Yeah,
fuck
I
it, we're going to
think
go for this.
when
Yeah.
yeah, especially when you're putting in like your key people, right? You want to make sure that you compensate them well and give them a structure that is going to allow them to grow.
Mhm.
You don't want to just look for the cheapest route because that's not always going to give you the best results,
Yeah.
especially on your leadership front. That's the most important thing. And then you also want the agents to be happy too, right? So
Yeah.
you need to make sure that they have a commission structure that also makes sense for the business. And we've had to adjust our commission structure many times because of all the ACA
Really.
changes.
How do you deal with that? Because that's been that one in my experience. That's like the hardest conversation I have. Like, I don't like to fuck with people's money, man. Like it.
That is
What I mean? I guess it's the same. Yeah.
it's
How do you?
it's all about approach.
Yeah.
Typically, it's either done like face to face or over like a Zoom call. Kind of Santi more handles that, but it's it's very like polite, but there's the reason behind it. Hey, we're not just doing it because this is what it feels like. It's because, hey, this actually happened in the industry. Like this is an industry thing, and it's either in order to survive, we have to make this change. And of course, what's the initial reaction? They're not happy,
Yeah.
but then they understand like, hey, it's like this is a reason. Like there's actually validity
Yeah.
to behind what we're saying. We're not just pulling it out of our ass
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah. Those are the toughest conversations I have, man. But like, it's funny because looking back, they always work out. Like 90% of the time, it works out.
Yeah,
It's rare when it doesn't. As long as you're genuine about it, and they see there's a real fucking valid reason, and then when things go the other way, you make up for it if like it works out. But that's been my, there's a lot of ups and downs in business.
yeah.
That shit happens.
It's kind of like if a buyer told you, hey, we're gonna have
Yeah.
to lower your payout by $5, but you can keep running because
Yeah.
honestly, it's not working.
Yeah.
But maybe your margins are good enough. You're gonna keep running, and you're not gonna stop running it.
Yeah.
And if they're being honest about it, they're not just trying to give you a bad deal. Then it makes sense because they could legitimately be losing money, and we don't want to put ourselves in a position to where it's hurting the business, and we have to close shop. Like we want to make adjustments, and I think that's one thing that people need to understand when they're building an agency, or if they decide to go that route. You're gonna have to make adjustments, in real time, and you need to really have your numbers on point. And I think that's another thing. You want to make sure that you do have people looking over your finances, or get a really good CFO. And we have a couple of people, looking over that, looking at our budget, our books, and that's kind of how we know. You got to have your projections in place. I don't do much on the numbers side personally, but I know that is super, super important.
Yeah, because on this side of the business, right, there's a tail, right? Is what it is. You have to get you got to put a lot of money. I mean, it's
Yeah,
gonna be, I don't know,
tons.
6 months, nine. Like there's a certain break even point, right? Like,
Yeah.
well, what is it? What I know, I knew this at one point, but what's the break even point, or where you can?
Right now, we actually ran some projections. Our break even point, we're still about probably 9 to 12 months out.
Okay.
It's somewhere roughly in that.
Yeah.
And we obviously set up our numbers in to make them worse than they actually are, because you don't want to,
Great. Yeah.
you know what I mean? You don't want to, like, what's the word? Over prom, under deliver, over prom,
Yeah.
Overpromise, under.
Overpromise, underdeliver.
Exactly, right. So you don't want to set your expectations too high. Like you want to actually, when you're doing, when you're doing projections, you want to add some buffer in there on
Yeah.
all your numbers, right? In the negative way, right? Like you want to make it like this is worst case possible scenario. So that way, when you run it, you kind of have an idea. And then if you do better, then you're just gonna get out of debt sooner.
Yeah, I think that I'm glad that you talk about that because I mean, we looked into business like that, my partner and I, and we actually looked into doing a debt floor. And the issue with the debt floor, the clawback rate was so fucking high,
Yeah.
right? And we don't think they were being honest with it. I think the guys told us it was 30%, and we were like, we think it's more like 40 to 50%. So like, we can't fucking run a bit. And we're glad we didn't do that deal because two
Yeah.
years later, those guys went out of business, right? So
Yeah.
we feel like that's one of the reasons that they weren't telling the real numbers. They were trying to get people to sell underneath them. But the point is that when it comes to doing these kinds of business, you need to have a cash cushion. And I think like as you speak, the fact that you have the leads icon side, right? That's selling leads and all these different verticals. We'll touch about that soon. That probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that's probably where you could, you could have your life, it pays for your bills, right? Your whatever, your car,
Oh yeah.
food, and then you're able to let this. You don't need to get paid from this immediately.
Yeah, we're
This
still
is
carrying debt on this project,
yeah,
Like I said, probably another 9 to 12 months. And that's
yeah,
just people have to understand, you're going to carry debt when you build out a book. It's not just like, boom, you're profitable day one, where lead gen, you can be. But of course, the upside is on the back end,
yeah.
the long term play.
Yeah, and it's not for the faint of heart, but then if you're willing to weather that storm, you can survive that, get through those 9, 12 months and everything's gravy, right? Then you're like, you got a book of business
Yeah.
that's, I mean, beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, look at like Uber. I don't even know if they're profitable. Yeah. I was reading, are they even profitable yet?
Isn't that, I don't even know. I know their stock has been fucking doing pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Palantir profitable? I mean, that stock's to the damn roof. It's crazy.
There's a lot of companies that are not profitable,
Yeah.
but they're it just blows your mind. It makes you really understand like how business works, at
Yeah.
that type of scale.
Yeah. Yeah. And not to go off subject, but as I wanted to be ready for this, as ready as possible for our interview, man. And I was going through your Instagram, and I think back in 2020, I didn't realize Tesla stock was 1,500 back then, bro.
Yeah.
So
But then we had some splits.
yeah, that's what it was, the splits. But you wrote something about, I guess back then people were saying Tesla was overvalued. So you wrote something like, listen, I don't think Tesla's overvalued because of this. If you have a Tesla, the people that own this car are very loyal to it, da 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 da. Bro, I think since you wrote that stock's gone up like 5 to 6x at
Yeah.
least, maybe 10x.
I actually have a lot of Tesla stock.
Nice.
I don't know. I have to check my portfolio. But
Yeah.
I bought a bunch back then and I just held on to it.
But it's very similar, right? Is that you gotta, if you believe in something and you keep reinvesting into it, and then we both you were with me at Columbia Con. You guys did a great job at Columbia Con. You and Manny with your
Yeah.
presentation. That was, man, people were getting up off the chairs.
Yeah.
They were fucking looking at it.
They're taking pictures on the
Bro, I think someone fucking copied one of those things from there, man. I don't, you know about that shit?
I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Stop everyone pull out their phones. It's like,
Yeah, we got do a little bit. But we had some sauce at fucking Columbia Con, bro. It was just great. But anyway, Ankur spoke, right? His presentation was fucking nuts about the
I loved it. Yeah.
Dude, that was insane. But he talked about something similar, man. And I tell you, every stock that he analyzed, all of them have doubled or tripled since then, right? Is what it comes down to. But
Wow.
What he believes in is that is the fundamentals, right? Investing in fundamentally strong companies. That's what you're talking about, Tesla. And that's when you talk about having a book of business that spits out cash, right? It spits out cash, it's creating jobs, and you grow, you reinvest it. And that's what we're talking about here. And that's, I'm kind of like at that point right now. I've tried all these different businesses that we're trying to like build some long-term shit with. And it's tough. It's not easy, man. Most of them fail. But the fact that you guys are doing it, that's why I wanted to interview you, because we were here a year ago, a year and a half ago. Now we're back, and you guys, and I want to come back a year from now and show what the hell is going on, man. So like, hats off to you guys, because this shit's not easy, man.
No, it's not. And
Yeah.
like I said, we've just been expanding, and now we have, it's crazy to think that we have 3 offices and they all kind of cater different areas
Yeah.
of what we do in our industry, the creative, the content. This is more of like, I think of this as like our back end office, right? This is our back end. The creative is kind of like our front end, because it feeds, it feeds lead gen, it feeds our lead gen and leads icon side. And then we have our retention center in Columbia, which I guess would also be more back end as well.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because you gave me a thought. Your office is in Arizona. When did you open that?
We opened that in August.
Okay, and you're in Arizona.
I live
That's
in-
where it
yeah, I
is.
live in
How
Arizona.
far is your office from your home?
About 15 minutes.
Yeah. So let me ask you, because I've been thinking about this, man. I'm itching to start a call center in Miami, right? I live here. The last couple of call centers I had was South Carolina, Columbia. That you travel, it's not the same, man. But when
Yeah.
how good does it feel? And I think the reason I'm trying to say that, I feel like it's a cheat code. when you're an entrepreneur and you're a business person, like it gets the juices flowing, right? You go to the office, you get shit going. Like how since I'm not going to talk about the financial aspect. We're talking about both, like financially. How has that affected the business and spiritually? How has that been for you in terms of
Yeah,
going to the
I would
office?
say having the office, one, you create like a bond with the people that you work with. It becomes more of like a family, right?
Yeah,
And then the second thing is like you're able to solve problems in real time. You know, when you're kind of working remote, you don't really know like, okay, is the person active? Are they online right now? I mean, if there's a problem, you can talk about it like instantly. And then the third thing is like the training, you know, like I'm able to literally be there with them, train them, walk them through the problems, solve it with them. And that's what I mean by being in the trenches.
yeah,
Doing remote, that's a little bit harder, right? Like if I'm on a Discord or a Zoom, yeah, I mean, you can get a lot done that way, you know, do a screen share, but there's just something about being in person, right? Like why are we doing this podcast
yeah,
in person versus like through Zoom?
yeah.
It's way different, right? The way that we would probably communicate and talk to each other would be a lot different from through a Zoom versus in person.
Yeah, you miss, like with Zoom, there might be
Connect.
some cues that you like. Maybe there's something you show. I'm looking in the eye right now, and you show certain like emphasis on. I'm going to elaborate on that. I'm going to keep
Yeah.
pressing deeper, right? And then you're right. You don't catch it on the Zoom, and that's been personally for our companies at Connection Holdings. I think one of our issue is that, especially after Solar Peak, has been this fucking remote. This culture. And don't get me wrong, we have a good team, but I'm missing the whole fucking that face to face. So I've been itching, man, to get
Yeah.
that going again. It's
I
gonna
think
happen.
you know,
Let's fucking go.
yeah. The productivity in the office is much higher. Like I
Yeah.
will say that when you get people in one office kind of thinking alike and, you know, get everyone aligned, that's where it just kind of skyrockets.
Yeah.
So
All right. So we talked a lot about the agency. Is there anything we missed that we want to touch upon on the agency side before we go to the lead gen side?
now that I can think of, I think we covered pretty much you know, the challenges, you know, the cash flow, being patient, and the compliance is a big thing that people really have to understand and be aware of. So I think those are the biggest ones.
Yeah, and you know what? Let's before we jump into the lead gen side, let's talk about that too. Like, when do you know you're ready? Because I think that's one of the things that stops people. It could be fear, and I'm sure maybe you guys have some fear. Are we fucking ready for this? Like, when do you know it? You can do that. Is it a certain like I'm gonna? You have kids, right?
Yeah.
Like I tell you what, every time I had a kid, I got 3 kids. I was always, all right, fuck it, let's go. Like when the money was good, when I knew the money was good, I'm like, because I didn't feel like I don't want to bring a
The
kid to the
money is
world if I don't, the fucking money's not right, you know?
That's what I was gonna say. When the money is good is when you can take more risks, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're already doing well in the Legion, you have some cash aside, then you know, build an agency. Scale it slow. You don't always have to,
What's the definition of money is good? Like, is it like, again, everyone's got different, depends
yeah.
on where you live. Miami's got a different standard, like
Well,
100,000, a million in Miami is different than a million in Arizona or in California. Like,
you're
is there a number? Is there a certain like, um, I don't know what, I don't know. I want to say debt to income. Like, I feel like there's gonna be a certain KPI. Like, what is that
yeah, yeah.
KPI,
I
right?
think well, you either got to have an investor, right,
Yeah.
who can provide the cash flow to you. I mean, we do have an investor
Mhm.
for this project, or you're gonna need realistically like, you know, $3 to $5 million
Yeah.
just, you know, ready to go. To really answer your question. So it's either one of the two, right? Because you need to have the cash flow.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're gonna like inject the 3 to 5 million right away, but you have to have that set aside because you just don't know like what's gonna happen. It also depends on how fast you hire because there's different ways to scale an agency, you know. We kind of wanted to scale at a different pace, which is why we have an investor. We want to be able to, you know, scale this a little bit more aggressively.
So okay, so that was great. I'm glad you mentioned it. The 3 to 5 million. So what's the runway on that? Like, how long does that get you? And I guess it depends how many agents. Like, I'm sure you
Yeah.
do a lot of
So
forecasting.
that's a tricky question because it really depends on your overhead costs, like who you've hired, what are you paying your agents, in your you know your leadership team, things like that. But you know, like you can do a lot with 3 to 5 million. You know, you could probably have 30 to 40 agents, and you know, remember you are going to be getting that money coming back. It just takes a long time.
Yeah,
So I think that could give you the runway you would need for probably. I mean, it's tough because it just depends how many agents you have, but that could give you the runway for a year, and then you just reinvest. Reinvest from there. You just have to, that's where you need the performa, right? I think this is what Ed is really good at, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's where you need the performa
yep.
because that's where you can really dial it in. Like, okay, this is what I have. I think that's probably better answer your question to make this, more fair for the viewers watching is you need to do actual like perform on that, how many agents you're going to hire and put in your actual costs because it's just so variable, man. Like if you're going to have 10 agents versus 30, there's going to be a big difference in cost. Or if your building is, 1,500 square feet versus 5,000 square feet or the location,
Yeah.
that's where it gets tricky. But you do want to definitely have some cash set aside. You could probably, even if you probably had like 1 to 2 million, you could probably start an agency too. You would just have to scale slower, right? That's where you, once again, you'd have to do performance, figure, okay, I can start with this many agents and, you can still get there. Maybe you start with 5 agents and then once you get that working, you can start investing and growing slowly. It's just gonna, the more you have, obviously, the faster you can grow, right? Like the
Yeah.
more cash you have, the faster you're gonna be able to grow.
So let me. I got two questions for you. I guess how did you find the investor? Because I mean that's something. It's funny. I was just at a meeting too, and I talking about the call center idea. And this guy's like, "Listen, Dave, you want someone to invest in you? I'll do it, right?" And it's just great to get to the point. I've had conversations like that again. I have these ideas, and people are willing. You build credibility, and I know that that's what helped you guys out too. But like, how did that happen?
That's definitely credit where Manny goes. I mean, that's really Manny's side.
Yeah,
He made like a really good connection. We met with him in our office a few times. I
mm,
can't say exactly who it is, but
yeah,
we had a really good connection, and they saw our potential, and of course, things just clicked really well, and they're like, hey, we'll invest in your project, and then
mm.
from there, you kind of get things in writing, and then they start funding the project, and then you have to still meet, certain KPIs and CPAs and things like that, and then they'll fund your project.
And how do you guys like your monthly meetings where you're going over financials to see you're on track, or how is the whole?
Yeah, I mean, they have access to everything, like our
Yeah.
financials and our book. Everything kind of actually goes through them because they're an FMO.
Mhm.
So you know what I mean. They can see kind of everything, so it's all fully transparent. So they know the performance. So the risk is, as long as you're performing, you think about it, the risk is relatively low.
Yeah.
There's just that debt that has to be carried. That's probably the biggest risk, is how long you're carrying that debt,
Yeah.
and how fast you're growing. But
Yeah. So have you ever had, I don't know if you've had maybe a month or a period of time where you were off your projections, right? Has there been a situation where maybe the investors get nervous, like, hey, what's going on here?
yeah, I think retention, and that's
Yeah.
something that's really hard to control because you build out your retention model, and you're like, okay, the retention is going to be a drop off.
Yeah.
We're going to lose 5% of our book per month, and it ends up being 10%. Well,
Mm.
that just made things different. Now, here's the cool part: I can now say, since we actually have real data, because going into ACA, there's a lot of like different numbers that people are saying, oh, retention could be this or this, or there's a lot of different numbers. So we kind of took like the average of what we heard.
Yeah.
But now that we've actually done it, we know what it actually is, and we can put in those numbers plus a little higher to be safe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it could still be different for you because, once again, I could sit here and tell you, hey, this is going to be the retention. But if you have a better retention team,
Yeah.
or you're really, really good at doing the callbacks and whatnot, your numbers could be completely different. Or if you don't have that in place, it's going to be a lot worse, which is why I think we heard so many numbers and we thought our retention was dialed in. We've gotten a lot better,
Yeah.
I would say, in the last, 6 months. We've kind of dialed it in, but now we have more accurate performers in a sense, right? Because we can put in the real data, and we still, like I say, we still skew the data. So it's more, negative, just so we have that buffer room, right? So if retention is, for example, we're losing, let's just say the 5% example, we're losing 5% a month. We may actually put in 7 or 8
Yeah.
just to have that buffer room, right? So that way, if you do better, you're happy. And if you do, it's very unlikely you're going to do worse if you're, skewing the numbers that way.
Yeah, and again, that retention, that's what I was talking about with the debt, why Ed and I didn't get into the debt business because we did the pro formas, we're doing the numbers, and at 30%, it would work, but it wasn't, it was very, the juice wasn't really worth the squeeze. I'm like, if these fucking guys are not being transparent, right? And if it's really fucking even 33%, this thing changes. So we think it's more like 40 to 50. And we started talking to
And then
people.
when you run those numbers, you're
Yeah,
like, oh,
this is
you're
scary as shit.
yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it sounded good. And there's a lot of, they do a whole dog and pony show. And dude, I'm a fucking, salespeople are the easy people to sell, right? And bro, I hear fucking energy in the call. I went to this call center. I see the energy. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. These guys have a good call center. But just because you have a good call center doesn't mean, there's other shit. So the bottom line is that you got to run those pro formas. You got to know those numbers. And I'm glad you talked about the retention aspect because that's that
Yeah.
wild card that could fucking sink you.
That's another thing that people need to be aware of in agencies retention. And just don't guess, or, just because someone says, hey, it could be this, you really honestly aren't going to know until you're actually in the trenches. That's the
Yeah.
scary part about it, I think.
Yeah.
You can have estimates. Like I said, you can be like, I think it's this. You can go really high if you want to. But at the end of the day, you're really not going to know what your retention is until you actually run it. And
Yeah.
luckily, we have that data now, right? So I can tell you, hey, Dave, if you did the same thing, I can be like, yeah, man, your retention should be like this, because it's going to be so variable depending on what if you have a retention team set up, how you're doing your callbacks and everything in between, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors.
No, it's huge. No, I think this is great. Dan, this has been, you went deep in here, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And, also I was going to say, When I met Manny, you guys were doing a lot in Spanish, right? I'm sure you doing that in the insurance side as well. I mean, you're bilingual agents. I'm assuming you are,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
We're still doing Spanish, of
yeah.
course.
That's
We have about half and half right now on our agents. So we have about
yeah,
30 agents, half are about Spanish and half are English.
that's amazing. Yeah, I remember when I met. I thought about doing this myself, man, but it's like a Spanish auto, man. I feel like that's got to be fucking hot. Like,
Yeah.
if someone's got the right team for that, and here in Miami too, not just auto, but Medicare. I was talking to Manny about the other day, like. You drive around and they got these buses, like these two grandmothers. I don't know, they call Las Abuelas or Las
Yeah.
Madrinas, some shit like that. But these two like orderly, they built this fucking mega like company, man. Like probably worth billions of dollars. Just in Spanish, just freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's a huge market and it's untapped. There's not as many people competing for the Spanish audience.
Yeah,
And it's out there. I think a lot of people they don't compete because maybe they're not bilingual or they're like, well, I think that's probably what it is, right? Like
yeah.
if I was by myself, I'd probably just be doing English creatives.
But do you do stuff? And are you part on the Spanish side with the creatives too?
I mean, what they do is sometimes they will often take the English creatives and just translate them to Spanish, or we'll have a producer that does do Spanish
Yeah,
and they can actually go and recreate the content.
yeah.
I mean, Manny's done a lot of Spanish content. Probably our best content from Spanish has been content that Manny has done.
Oh yeah, no, he's
Yeah.
dialed the fuck in. I've seen the ads; they're
Yeah.
crazy. And that just, there's another guy in this area who's done. He used to be big in solar, and his solar ads were fucking great, man. And it wasn't a. We talked about this at Columbia Con, right? And, I mean, it wasn't anything fancy. He'd take like the camera out, and it was just amazing. What the fuck? Look at that. But all good. We keep rolling. But no, but it was just crazy. Like it was like UGC shit, man. It would just fucking work, man. And like a chart, man. Just in the neighborhood. Oh, this guy just went solar, like in a car, like just like stuff that doesn't like really fucking make sense, but like it works.
Yeah.
Logically, it doesn't make sense, but it just
No, it's
works.
sometimes the simple ads work. And we see that even to this day. Like sometimes we'll do these really crazy things and it will work to a point, but then you do something as simple like that takes you less than a few minutes and that one performs better. I think it's just how authentic and how relatable it is. Like sometimes when you overproduce something, people are like, oh, this has to be an ad, this has to be staged.
Yeah.
But when we see underproduced authentic content, that's what really is performs. People just want to relate, at the end of the day.
Yeah, at Columbia Con, we talked about, you guys showed your debt ads, the one in front of the bank, right? And
Yeah.
like the heist, the money heist sort of thing that you guys
Yeah.
got in trouble for. But that's what it was. It was fucking, like, it felt real as shit, man. It was like and
Yeah.
I think you didn't even tell, the girl was like visibly shaken because she thought there was like a real robbery going on. Like, it was like, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
amazing, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. We captured the authenticity through that. And, that's a good ad. The ad did perform. But the funny thing is we've had ads that we spent way less time on perform even better than that, right? Like
Mm.
we've had ads where it's just been like the one take on the phone and it's crazy, like you can, so I'm saying you just don't know like how well an ad is going to perform until you test. And, in our creative process, we're probably whipping out like 300 creatives a week right
Mm.
now. So unique pieces of content is a little bit less, probably about 80 unique pieces.
Mm.
And then it gets spun off into variations, of that content. Like, so they take that unique content and then they spin it. We're doing a little bit more with AI now because I don't know if you've been seeing the developments AI with Sora 2 and, VO3, 3.1 just came out and there's all these updates. It's almost hard to keep up with all the updates, but it's so good now that you can create, really authentic looking footage for your hooks,
Mm.
build a storyline, build testimonials. So we're mixing a lot of AI, but we still do a lot of UGC. I would say now, we used to be pretty much 100% UGC.
Mm.
Then with VO coming out and Sora, we kind of went more, now we're more like 50-50.
Mm.
We kind of just slowly move the needle and we're blending it now.
And how's that? It's still working. Like the profitability is the same, gone higher. Like how's that affected
still-
overall numbers? Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers probably about the same in
Okay.
terms of profitability. I think it's allowed us to test more and scale more because it's a lot easier to generate an AI video than having to go out, line up actors and, generate all that stuff when you can just do it with a prompt now.
Yeah.
And, you see people really just crushing it. Are you guys doing a lot of AI too?
We have a media buyer is doing pretty decent with him, but it's above my head, man. That's not my thing. But yeah, the VO, I know he's big in VO, all those updates.
Yeah.
He does that for home improvement, man. But we got to do more of it, man. I feel like we're behind. We just added an email marketer to our team. The guy, I was telling Chance yesterday, the guy's blowing my fucking mind away with the stuff that he's doing, man. So I think that's going to be awesome. And not only just from the creative side, but also with the analytics, the way he's able to like pump out these reports. Ankur came to my office in Aventura like fucking 3-4 months ago. He humbled me, man. And you know what I've been finding? I don't know if this happened to you, but recently, the last 3 or 4 months, I'm having people fucking humble me, man. And they're challenging me. And I appreciate that. Ankur's like, Dave, man, you're too old school. You guys are doing this. Like, And like that lit a fire under my ass, bro. I was like, yo, we got to send this motherfucker to this AI. I think we got to do this, do that. And,
Yeah,
and it helped. It really helped. And now we just like attracted this guy in our team that's a fucking vet, man. And he knows AI so well. And like, I feel like this guy's going to take our shit to the next level, especially when
that's awesome.
we have to do shit with mortgage, the stuff. And the home improvements become so competitive. It's so saturated that you really have to have a fucking edge. And for a while, we were doing the same shit everyone else was doing. That's why we weren't growing. But now I feel like with these components and also like Anchor lighting a fire under my ass, Adam Young's on my ass with a lot of shit. Like, I feel this is good. You need it,
Yeah.
man.
No, with automations, you can't get left behind. Like, we were really, to be honest, we were against AI video for a while, and I'll tell you the reason why, because it sucked.
Mm.
Like it didn't look, yeah, exactly. It didn't look good. And I was like, why would we want to do something that looks clearly fake? And then what really was a turning point for me is seeing, VO3 and now Sora. And I'm like, wow, this actually looks real. And
Yeah.
people think it's real because you see people posting videos on social media. Like there was one that went really viral of like some rabbits jumping on a trampoline that went super viral.
Yeah.
And everybody thought it was real, but it was actually AI because it was like 12 rabbits jumping on a trampoline. It looked real because it was like security camera video. And if you saw it, you'd think it's authentic. But, a lot of the AI videos, what is the giveaway is that they push the envelope so far. Like you'll see like a dog walking up to a door and you're like, okay, this is real. And then a moment out of nowhere, an eagle comes and picks it up and
Yeah.
does some wild shit with it,
No, yeah, it's been I forwarded some stuff to my wife on Instagram, like, and it's some of the shit I wasn't even sure, like some alligator attack. I'm like,
Yeah, those are most
yeah,
likely AI.
yeah, no, for sure. But like, but some they got way
But
better.
they
Man. It's
get you at first, and then
yeah,
it depends on where they take it. I mean, if you really want to trick people, just keep it like something that could just be as if it was done as in real life, right?
yeah,
Would this really happen in real life? If an alligator is going to come up to the door and like
hmm,
eat your child, that's probably fake,
yeah, for sure.
you know, because
Yeah,
that'd be all over the news.
yeah, it's crazy shit.
But
What are good resources for you in terms of well, without spilling like the sauce, man? Like, what's helped you kind of stay ahead of the curve? Like I mentioned with me, man, I was our company. It's almost embarrassing how far behind the curve we were with AI, man. Now
yeah,
we're trying to catch up. But what are like some tips for the audience? Like, where would you start? I mean, let's say you're like a novice, or you're someone that's like you're novice, you're intermediate, and you're more advanced. Like, what are those like? Where would you go?
like how to stay on the AI
Yeah, like
soar.
how to stay on, like where to start, or when you're advanced, like how to stay ahead of the curve, like that kind of shit, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too, like when we hear about new AI tools, is that typically, there are influencers on TikTok that share new AI tools. So I'm kind of subscribed to some of those. I can't think of any specific names, but and when you watch that type of content, you get targeted with more. So I'm getting targeted with like content and new tools. It's like, oh, this tool, and they're, because let's be honest, I have no time to go sit there and go on Google and or ChatGPT and look for, hey,
Yeah.
what are these top AI tools? I let the content kind of come to me. So there'll be like an influencer that does a little demo on it, and if the demo is interesting, then I'll go and actually try it.
Hmm.
Like the influencer in TikTok will be like, oh, this new tool will let you do this, this, and this, and I'm like, first I ask myself, is this something that we could use
Yeah.
that would make something better? And if the answer is yes, then I'll either pass it to our editing team and I'll let them try it, or I'll take some time and try it myself. And Manny does the same thing.
Yeah.
We are just on TikTok looking at, new AI tools. So I think that's a great way to get information, is let people who are already in the space, like there's literally creators out there that are just out there trying every tool
Yeah.
and giving their like real feedback. They're not endorsed. They're just like, hey, this tool, this is what it does. Here's what you can do with it. And then you can be like, look at that yourself, Dave, and be like, well, is this something I would use on my, my company, or do I pass on this?
Yeah.
So that, I think that's a great way to get information for real.
How much time a week do you think you allocate on that to research?
Well,
that?
because I just get targeted when I'm scrolling TikTok. So, I mean, it could just be in my free time that I get
Mm.
targeted. But you could, if you wanted to actually go allocate time, you probably wouldn't need to allocate more than like a couple times a week, like 2 times a week, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So about an hour a week.
Oh wow, not even that much time there for a good.
Because there's so much stuff coming out every day. Like
Yeah.
if you went just in on Monday, Friday, follow all those, just type in AI tools or, new AI software in the search box, and
Mm.
TikTok's going to start feeding you. And then when you start watching those videos, because they kind of watch your watch time, right? So the moment you're watching, 5 videos like that, then you go back to your normal feed and you're going to start getting targeted with more, or you can follow their pages, and then it's just getting kind of fed to you. And then
Yeah.
if you see something you like, go try it. Or if you don't have time, I think you need someone on your team that is willing to go and like try these things, you know?
Yeah, you need that specialist, right? Is what it comes down to, and that's why
Yeah.
I feel
Well,
excited. Yeah,
and since we have a team of like editors, media buyers, depending on the category. So if like if it's something for media buyers, then we'll forward that video to the media buyers.
yeah,
If it's for editors, because we have different channels, right? Then we'll forward that over to the editors or the creative team. Whoever it applies to, we'll give it to them. And then in some cases, if the tool's really impressive, like Sora 2, I didn't pass on that. I like jumped on that right away. Same with VO3. Like those two tools really caught my attention because I started watching on it and it's so, and you know, when a tool is really good, every influencer is talking
yeah.
about it, right? And then you're like, okay, I have to try this. And then you have the smaller tools that come into play, which I can't think of any off the top of my head, but people talk about them and you're like, okay, like I think they had one for Premiere Pro that automatically like, you know, cuts the video, syncs it to the audio, does some cool stuff. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll come back to this one later, but you know, it's not going to be as much of a game changer because it's going to save a little time for the editors making their cuts. And there was something similar in CapCut, but I was like, you know, I'll come back to this one later because I think what's going to be more impactful is, you know, Sora 2 and VO3 because everybody's talking about it. And then you're actually seeing the end result because what people do is they're posting their VO3 generated videos and their Sora videos and you see it and you're like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah. No, it's great, man. The adoption, the pace, it's so freaking fast. How quick this stuff is
Yeah.
happening, man. And it's you know, I'm old, man. I went to school during the .com bubble.
I didn't think we'd be here.
Yeah, you're right. I know it's crazy but back then things were evolving so fast. But the evolution of this is just a whole nother fucking level. It's crazy, man.
Super competitive.
Yeah, super. And then you look at the stock market, right? I mean, all-time highs, and you have like two Americas right now, right? And
Yeah, Nvidia is going crazy, right?
Nvidia, the Max 7, right? And these are the ones, that's what's really carrying the market high. But the rest of, like, you got Chipotle going down, you got all these other stocks like you're even saying like Costco starting to have issues, but this has been such a driving force, right?
Future,
So
right here.
it is a future. And then as internet marketers, people that make a living off of this, it's good for us. It's like,
Yeah.
it's still, there's a long runway is what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think that if you're not getting into AI now, especially with how good it is and it's only going to get better, like I would say video is already the way, depending on how you generate it, you can already make a video that looks authentic. Like
Yeah.
that's already done. So it's like, what's the next step?
Mhm.
Do we generate longer videos? Are we going to, you know, I think we're gonna get to a point to where, you know, you're going to be on Meta, you're launching ads on Meta or TikTok and it's going to automatically like generate winning creatives for you. I think it could get that crazy.
Yeah.
Like that is not, you know, that's something that's actually possible.
How far do you think we are from that?
I think we get there in 1 to 2 years.
Wow.
I mean, based on how fast we're moving, yeah, 1 to 2 years. I mean, imagine that where you just like say, I need a creative for this, and it's just going to generate a bunch and split test for you.
Yeah.
Like it's going to spend your money split testing, and it's going to find a winning creative for you, and then you're going to be able to scale that.
That's crazy.
We'll create that ourselves. So,
I mean, I think Meta or the platforms are going to get there way faster than us. We could create that ourselves because they have way more data. They already have the data on their you know, their people like you.
Yeah, they got so
profiles.
much fucking
Yeah.
data. It's just crazy.
They can optimize a lot faster than us. I mean, you could probably have someone go and try to create that, but let's be honest, you don't have the data to make it good. You know,
Yeah, no, it's all data at the end of the day.
I do see that coming where you literally go to Meta, you put in your URL and you're like, hey, I need an ad for this. And it's going to match everything and it's going to actually generate stuff that works.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to get scary.
Yeah.
Because that's going to like eliminate the barrier to people making ads. But I think that it even may get to the point to where it just generates 50 creatives for you. And it's like, okay, I'll split test all these for you. And when we find the winner, then that's it. And you don't have to do anything.
Ringba is the leading inbound call tracking and analytics platform for marketers, brands, and pay-per-call teams. It gives you real-time reporting, intelligent call routing, and fully customizable call flows backed by global telecom access in more than 60 countries. With enterprise-grade reliability, a powerful API, and no contracts or setup fees, Ringba has become a go-to platform for performance marketers worldwide. To learn more and to sign up, check out the link in the description below. Get goated and let's fucking go. And that's a competitive advantage, that data, man. And you want to talk about that? I know we're talking offline with Mandy about the data side. Is that something we want to jump into?
Yeah, we are doing a little bit with data because we are generating so many leads. You know, we're generating our own data. So one thing we're doing now is we're getting into SMS and the email side. We're actually building out a data team to monetize that because we realize that, you know, as we're generating leads, a lot of people are like, you know, on the affiliate side, they're just making that front end money. But when you're generating a lead, what do you have when you generate a lead? Well, you have an email, you have a phone number, depending on what, you know, fields you're generating. And I think a lot of people are just missing out on actually monetizing that. And so we realized that we need to get on that because we haven't been monetizing data for a while up until recently.
Mm.
And that's another thing that could really, you know, compound or snowball because if you're generating, let's just say 5,000 records a day or whatever it is, that's going to compound over time. I mean, 5,000 records a day, 10,000, you know, tomorrow, 15,000 the next day.
Mm.
Before you know it, you have a million people on your list. I was in that scenario a while back in 2016 with AWeber, back when, affiliate marketing, everything was lax. I actually built up a list to about a million subscribers through rent to own, just collecting emails. And this is back before the inbox, it was only like the
Holy
primary.
shit,
There was
they're on rent to
updates.
own. That was hot for a while.
That was very high. Yeah.
Holy
Even
shit.
the Day brothers ran that
Yeah.
too. That's kind of where we got started. And we would just hammer those AWeber lists. And I would send like 3 offers a day. And it was the Wild West because you could just mail like crazy. And that lasted for a while. I want to say like a little over a year. But then AWeber started cracking down and they're like, oh, you can't mail so much. So I had to go from mailing like 3 times a day to once. And then they didn't like that I was doing like affiliate marketing.
Mm.
So they eventually just terminated my account. But I had a million people on my list. And that list would generate me, man, like honestly, just by sending emails, not even what I was making in the front end. I was generating anywhere from like ten to $30,000 a day just off email. Like it was variable because, some days were good, some days were bad, but there was some time when I was sending 3 times a day, I was generating close to like 30 grand
That's crazy.
because I was sending out just like credit score offers and
Yeah.
free trials. And, the credit score offers, I think they're still around. People put in their credit card. It costs them like $1 and then it bills them, $30 in 7 days. And you can make a lot off those.
Yeah.
Especially back then. I don't know if people fall for that as easily now, but back then that thing just opted in because I would put something like, if you want to qualify for rent own, you have to check your credit first.
Yeah.
And then people would actually want to go check their credit. It was just driving. It was all about the angle. So I'd get a ton of those. And I remember like that offer could do $10,000 a day. That's just one link, but I would put like 3 links in the email, 3 different offers. And some people would fill out more than one because I'd be like, step 1, do this, like to qualify for your rent own package or something like that. Step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. So it'd like credit check, something else. And then some people would go through and do all 3 offers. And dude, you're making so much money off of one person.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. You talk about the credit card, but probably right around that time, maybe 20, I don't know, 20, probably was 2016. I signed up for Lexington Law because I had,
That's actually, we did some Lexington
Did
law
you?
stuff on the back end. Yeah.
yeah, bro. So what happened was, I don't know what happened. This happens to me like every 3 years. I'll be like, I have like a fucking medical bill for like $10. Something I forget about, then boom, fucks up my credit, right? So something like that happened to me. I got Lexington Law, and man, I think I was paying for that shit for 6 years. I forgot. Like,
Yeah, it was
my
like-
credit went up. I'm back like where I need to be. Like,
They're like
after-
$99 a month or something.
Yeah, and then I didn't even live in there anymore. Like I had a house in like South Carolina, and then fucking like I noticed like, way later, what am I paying? I'm paying like fucking, I don't know what it was, 30, 40, $50 a month for this thing, man. And it's just crazy what the lifetime value on me was so good. And that happens. I mean, I probably was like an anomaly, but I'm the one helping the overall campaign, but people,
Yeah.
they forget about it. It's crazy, man.
A lot of people get on those recurring stuff and they forget about it. You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
But that's why you got to build. That goes back to building the real business,
Well, yeah, you build and then we did. I didn't own this company, but I built a big call center in South Carolina. We had a campaign, a home warranty campaign. Man, it's just crazy how people stay on these things for like 6, 7. It's a legit product. It's a little legit product, man. I mean, not to say
Yeah.
like something, but it was like a set and forget. And once someone signs up, and back then, what was good about that product is that it was going on their electric bill. So it's not, you didn't need to collect credit card. Like, it would be like, I don't know what it was, $10 a month, 20, something where it's not, you're not going to like feel the impact, but man, it's
Yeah.
crazy the book of business on that kind of shit, man.
Oh yeah.
And I always thought, this is before I started my lead gen company, but I think after I started lead gen company, all these people that had home warranty, they'd probably be great for auto warranty, right? Like how do you
Yeah, cross-sell.
cross-sell them, right?
That's where data comes in because
Yeah.
you can cross sell the data, right? Like you can have, as long as you have the opt-in, or you can, like if they have auto insurance, but maybe they're a homeowner, you can get them solar or something that a homeowner
Yeah.
would need, right? And that's where the money is, and that's what we're exploring with now. I mean, that's a whole nother ball game,
Yeah, I love it, man.
Is that a-
Yeah, and that's great because at the end of the day, you get that lead, right? And it's almost like, I remember someone had the analogy of a butcher. Like the butcher doesn't let anything go to waste. They cut this piece, right? And then even the fucking bone goes to
Yeah.
to the dogs, right? To the pets.
That's the mindset we need to be in when we're generating leads, I think.
Yeah, and what I love about what you guys have done, going back to the affiliate curse, you have a successful lead gen company, Leads Icon, is putting up really big numbers, right? In all these different verticals. We'll touch about that in a minute. But then that's fueling, because that's paying for your lifestyle, and it's fueling your ability to build something longer term. So it's not just short term. You got the short term and you got the long term. That's the way to grow wealth. That's the way to start a
Yeah,
have a
if you
real
have
business.
both, you get the best of both worlds. And then now we're mixing in data. So I think it's just a matter of time. Once we're out of debt with this project and the data's going, I mean, we're going to be like in a really, really good position, I think.
Yeah. And I love that you're talking about the debt side of it. Some people won't want to talk about it. They want to talk about, we're making all this money, but this is the bad, the real, the bad, the good, the bad, the ugly. We thought my partner had his last name was Payne. We thought about doing a podcast called Pain Points and talking about, I joke around, hey, you making money, whatever, because that's what sells,
Yeah.
right? But bro, like one day he was like, nah, we should talk about how much fucking money we lost. Let's talk about some real shit.
Yeah.
And it's true though, because I mean, you have these fucking days. It's like, what the fuck, man? And then there's like you talking about, to start your agency, you need to get investors, you need to have debt. Like there's shit you got to do. That's the stuff you got to go through. And once you get through that, though, man, that's the other side.
I mean,
man.
it's typically people that are like selling the courses that are only talking about the good things, right? Like when you have like because they only want to show the good side of things. But the truth is, there's a lot of struggles. There's a lot of challenges. I should say, not struggles. There's a lot of challenges that you're going to encounter. When you're actually building any business, I think.
Yeah.
It's just not always like easy, even though sometimes people on the outside looking in, they just see the success. They see like, wow, you have this, you did this. It's like, well, yeah, but do you realize what I had to do to get here,
Yeah, 100%. Man, no, this is great. I appreciate you going deep into that side. Now, with Leads Icon, right, what verticals? I know you guys were well known, and when I met you guys, massive in the debt side, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are still doing debt, but what are you guys working on? What's clicking for you?
So not so much debt. We're doing a lot of, we're in the fight. So we're doing a lot of insurance. So ACA, auto, Medicare, also sending, we also send that internally, but then we also send externally as well. So we're kind of diversified. And so, we have found a lot of success, to be honest, in leads, lead generation specifically. But yeah, we're kind of diversified in verticals. Those are probably like our main three right now.
How about, do you say final expense on that?
We're doing a little bit of final expense.
Okay.
Yeah, we're dabbling back into that.
Yeah.
But definitely more doing like insurance and auto side.
What's working best for you at all those verticals?
Probably auto right now,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, here auto is, I know it was hot as shit for a while, right? And I feel like there's some people starting to have issues with it. They feel like it's cooling off, or the buyers are just they're getting paused. They can't really scale. But I've heard of some people put up ridiculous numbers, man, on auto, and it sounds like it's a very kind of like volatile. But when we hit that hot streak, you can make like stupid money. Like you can make like in a week what you could make it like in a year in another vertical. Is that right? Or yeah.
No, that is true. That is true. Yeah, we had some really it's still challenging right now, but we had some really big like runs earlier in the year. But it has its ups and downs, exactly like what you're saying. I think right now it's hot because we're in Q4 at Medicare,
Yeah.
Everyone's running Medicare and there's a lot of opportunity there. But yeah, auto is one of those things where I think we've really dialed in the whole creative process, right? I think it comes down to that, and just also everything we've done internally with our team, the way we built out our media buyers, our editors, our creative process. And I think that's been probably the biggest part of our success. But yeah, no, there's a lot you can do, man, there in auto. It's insane.
Yeah, it is. Let's talk about Medicare open enrollment, right? We're in the middle of it right now. I'm hearing some mixed things from people, right? I'm hearing a lot of good media buyer guys that put up fucking dumb numbers, multiple six figures a day. They've done that historically, but they're saying that this year RPCs are down. Are you guys seeing the same?
We are, yeah. We're seeing the same. We had a big challenge when we first started. There was some stuff that we ran that was just not profitable. The media, there's some stuff that was not set up right. Some old landing pages that got launched. So we had to do a little bit of cleanup, which actually delayed us. But we finally got that fixed. And yeah, the numbers are not as good as what we've seen in previous years. But we're doing enough to kind of feed. I mean, the reason why we're doing Medicare is mostly enough to feed our call center here.
Yeah.
And then, obviously extra. We're not like looking to, it's not like our main vertical that we're actively scaling. So maybe we're not seeing the pain points as bad as everyone else. But yeah, there's definitely a big difference from when we ran it last year with RPCs. And, we've been doing a lot of split testing, even like throwing up different creatives. I don't know, maybe it could be because there's a lot of competition, in Medicare. It's a very competitive niche. I think even Adam Young sometimes says like, oh yeah, stay out of Medicare, right? Or all you guys want to do Medicare, right? He said something about that.
Yeah, we were at fucking Contact.io, man, and I was doing a panel about Medicare, and then Adam Young does the keynote speech, and he was like, "Listen, guys, you're getting paid.
There's more to life than Medicare."
Yeah, he pretty much he shit all over Medicare, man. He's like, "Fuck Medicare." Da 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 da. I'm like, "Great, I'm about to speak about Medicare, man."
Yeah.
But
he knows best. I mean, he's
he sees it all. He's got the bird's eye view. But there's people that though, like the Manny Zuccarellis, like they've been doing it so long that they have. And there's so many components. So like you want to have the direct buyers. You got to have this relationship. I mean, he's freaking talking to Congress. You know,
Yeah.
so like this is like it's a different level is what it comes down
Right.
to. It's,
And there's always opportunity, right? Like if you've been in a certain vertical or niche for a long time, you become an expert at
exactly.
it. Like I think there's a niche where we became an expert at. I think, auto is definitely our, we're expert because even where we started or, Manny started, this was before I joined, they were crushing auto.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just speaks volumes, the car dropping down. I think that when you really understand the vertical, it becomes like the back of your hand, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're really involved, I'm sure solar, like you were really big
Oh
on solar.
yeah.
Oh, you probably knew that like the back of your hand. You probably still do,
Yeah.
right? And so you could get back into it and, and everything levels out and you could just crush it.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because I did remember when I met Mandy because he was crushing auto, but he transitioned to debt because that auto had went through its cold streak.
Yeah, there was, and that was a market thing. That was all economics. And so
Yeah.
when that happens, just like solar, that's like so out of your control. And that
Yeah.
sucks when that happens.
Yeah.
That's why you need to have backup plan and you need to have like other offers you could run because you don't know what economics could affect it. And refi, went through the same thing. Hopefully it comes back one of these days. But I mean, I crushed refi when the rates dropped. But also I can't just say, yes, I had good creatives, obviously, but also the economics allowed me to crush it. Doing like, well, I was doing between 100, 150K every single day. And that lasted pretty much why the rates were low.
What period of time was that?
That would have been back in, when did the rates hit like, I don't know, they hit like low threes or low twos. That was probably back in 2020. Was it before COVID or after COVID?
Yeah.
I remember.
I think it was right after. Honestly, I think it was like 2021,
That
2022.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact year. It would have been before. Yeah, it was before I started working with these guys. But yeah, refi was huge for me and the rates dropped and it was just more of like just educating people on like what a rate drop is. But people are going crazy. I mean, there was a refi, literally like a refi frenzy.
Oh, there's
So you were serving, yeah, you were serving ads to people and talking about refi. They were just signing up. And yeah, the volume was insane.
Yeah, that's what I love about this industry. As much like there's always a
Opportunity.
flow, right? There's always a wave, right? If you can catch that, but then I think your template is great, and there's been other couple people that have done it successfully where and that's what they talked about at Geek Out. I forgot the guy's name, Mark Keller, I think was his name. It's Union Square Media, and then he also has auto insurance. Man, they ride these waves, or they become really good at one vertical and ride other ways, and then they use that money to fuel the
Yes.
ultra money,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That's the beauty.
That's basically what we're doing. We're using, this big wave we have, still doing really well. And, we can use that to fund other things, look for other projects, other verticals, fund this project if we needed to, you know what I mean? I think that's the big mindset that you have to be in is like, don't just chase the fast money. You need to also, be willing to pivot and diversify because nothing good lasts forever, right?
Yeah,
You
100%.
just never know. Something could change tomorrow that makes this vertical just like,
Yeah,
dead.
overnight, it happens all the time. And I think that going back to what we were saying about when do you know the timing is right, and we talk about when you have kids, I think as a man that financial stability is like a massive thing, right? Is what it
Yeah.
comes out to. And then if you have if you live and die off of every fucking campaign, you shouldn't jump into running an agency or having some business that's going to require a lot of capital because you're not going to think right.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it that. I mean, unless you have like an investor to back you up or someone with deep pockets. If you're trying to fund it on yourself, you should be very financially stable. Either you're bringing in, good cash flow every month, or you have a nest egg aside that you're willing to invest. That might be a good time to really consider because, whatever money you think you need, just think you need probably double that just to be safe, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think, oh, I could only start it with this, yeah, probably actually you're going to need more than that because you don't really know until you run into all the challenges that you're going to run into, which there will be. It'd be impossible, I think, to start something like this and not run into any challenges.
Yeah. I love it, man. So we always say on LFG show, success leaves clues, right? What's your daily routine like in Arizona?
Oh gosh. So I mean, I wake up every morning at pretty much 6 a.m. I like to wake up early. Even on weekends, I now wake up at 6 a.m. I think it's just become a habit. And then I'll either, drop, depending on the timing, I'll either drop the kids off at school or my wife will. And then I'll head to the office now because we have an office.
Hmm.
And I'll pretty much work there up until like 3 to 4. So I'm there, most of the day. And then now after that, I'm going to the gym. That's one thing that I've been putting priority on
Hmm.
because I think that's huge, right? Like you can't just be like wealthy and not be healthy. You got to have
Yeah.
both. So I really took that seriously. I think in the past like 5 or 6 months, I mean, you probably see me last time and I'm still working on it. Like I'm still still going to do more. But like now I make that, it's now, it's a habit. It's a daily habit for me. I'm doing that 7 days a week, tracking everything, calories, macros, all that good stuff.
Congratulations, by the way, on that,
Yeah.
man. It's true. When I was, I think I last saw you. I don't know where. I don't know.
Yeah. It had to been over 6 months ago because I haven't traveled since.
I know we saw each other in Colombia, which is January, and I feel like we saw each other after that too. But congratulations, man. I mean, you can obviously you see the results, man, and that's not easy. Honestly, it's like especially in our there's so much hustle and bustle in our life, right? And that
Yeah.
especially when you travel a lot, there's a lot of bullshit food options at the airport.
Food.
There's bad food, man.
Well, and we sit a lot too. So for me, I was on the computer most of the day editing videos before. I mean, even before we had our team, I would just sit there and just edit and edit. And I would like forget, I have my food like come to me as I'm sitting on the computer.
Yeah.
You're like not even getting up. And then, the day is done and you're like, shoot, I didn't exercise. And, it's like, did I have time? Should I have done that?
Yeah.
And now it's like, I think I have a better schedule now. I think with the office, it's helped too. Cause I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into work at this time. I'm done at this time. And then I know right after I can head to the gym, do an hour workout, whatever it may be, and then go home from there. And tracking, obviously food is more important because you can definitely lose weight without exercise.
Yeah.
And you can really you can outwork a bad diet, right? So like even if you work out and you go and have a donut or whatever, you're going to like undo everything you did. So
Yeah.
diet is the most important thing. So I started tracking, my calories, macros, and, creating just a deficit. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you eat as long as you're in a deficit. Of course, high protein is going to make a difference because it's going to keep you full longer. And then just going and, getting in the exercise.
Bro, you're talking my language. I love this shit, man. I love, listen, I have high energy, right? And I think my diet is one of the reasons for the high energy.
Yeah.
It helps, right? It really helps a big time. I eat food that I can digest quickly, right? Drink a lot of green tea. Recently in fucking, here I am. I'm drinking a lot more coffee than I thought I'd be drinking.
Yeah, coffee's addicting.
But straight black coffee. I'm not drinking fucking sugary lattes, none of that shit. Just straight up black coffee, man. But the point is that when you really feel healthy and you feel good, like I think I was going to that, it impacts the business in a positive way. It impacts everyone around you, right? You feel the same way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's also a reflection of you. You got to put the work into yourself too. I think at a point in time, and I realized that too. And maybe I made some sacrifices early on, like spending so much time on the computer so the company could be successful. And I think a lot of us go through that because we're just at desk jobs. But there has to be a point in time where you got to be like, no, I need to balance. And that was, I think, part of the balance that I was missing in my life is like, I need to implement this and put this into my schedule and then no excuses, right? Because once you put it into your schedule, there should be no excuses.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, what was that aha moment, that turning point for you? Did you feel like someone was nagging at you? Or did you like look at a picture, like, I don't like how I look?
Yeah, but it was more like pictures and stuff and videos. I was like, yeah, you look at it and it's just like, your confidence is like, oh, that's just like, I got to change this, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm making all this money, but like, what am I doing,
Yeah.
And there's a point where you have to like, you can't just imagine, like, what do they say? Like there's you can have all the money in the world and if someone's on their deathbed dying because of their health, like they would trade that in a heartbeat, right?
They tell you,
So,
take all the money.
And we're still young. I mean, even you,
Yeah.
are still young. I mean, and we have a lot that we want to do in life and we want to, we want to spend the time with our kids. And I think it's just all those things adding up. And it's just like, I think it was like a really good move. So now I'm just going to make sure that I stay consistent, and I think I'm very disciplined. That's the thing, that's why I was able to lose basically, what was it, 40 pounds in about 5 months.
Was that?
Just the discipline. And I mean, I was tracking everything, like labels first, because label is more accurate than just the picture of the food.
Yeah.
So I would do labels first when possible. And then it would either be a picture of food or I'd literally go look up how many calories are on this specific item, track everything, sauces, oils. You have to be,
Wow.
you can't, you can't skip anything. But
Bro, we gotta do a fucking, we gotta do like a legit offer. Like, not, I don't want to badmouth fucking Black Hat Nutrition, but like a real, because I do believe we're in this awakening, and I think probably the younger generation is more aware of this shit, man. Where they won't drink sodas, they know how bad it is for you. There's a lot of, I mean, even like the waters, man. They're so aware of that, and I feel like I've been aware of this for a long time, man. And I feel like the people that get ahead of is Nick Shackelford has Breeze, and it's a non-alcoholic like beverage. I think it has some THC in it, right? But the point is, like, I feel like there's a awakening going on, and that I feel like at some point you'll do something like that. I feel like I will too, man. It's like it's a passion of mine.
No, it's definitely become more of a passion. The more that you get into it and you realize like, and what's helped with tracking too, like I really encourage you to even try it if you're not tracking, is like, you'll start to know like, oh, this has about this many calories. Like you can now, even though I'll still track it because I want to be accurate as possible, you'll know like, you're more aware when you're overeating now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh shit, that has a lot of calories, and I've already eaten this, and this today. Like if I eat this, I'm gonna go over my daily limit. You know what I mean?
So what do you do? What are you doing exactly to track it?
So I'm using an app called the Cal AI,
Okay.
and you can either take a
How
picture
you
of
spell that?
Cal AI.
Cal AI.
Yeah, there's a bunch out there.
CAL.ai.
CAL AI.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a bunch out there. They all, they all do similar things. But you basically can take a picture of your food or the label. Label is always priority. So if you're doing something that has a label, that's going to be the most accurate. The food is probably going to be like 80% accurate, depending on what it is. Like it's pretty accurate if it's a whole banana, whole apple. But if it's like chicken and it has something on it, like it's not going to be.
Throws it off.
It'll be close. It's good to be close, right? And then if you want to overestimate, sometimes I'll go in and add like 10% over, because once again, I rather
Yeah.
overestimate so that I'm under eating and I'm in a
Yeah.
deficit. Because at the end of the day, all you need to lose weight is a deficit, right? If your body burns, you have a BMR, right? You know what a BMR is?
Body mass.
Your basal metabolic,
okay.
metabolic. I can't say the word. Basically it's how much you burn just by sitting, right? And so once you know what that is, and for most people it's around like 2,000, 2,100 calories, and that's not counting like exercise or just daily movement. So if you're like at a desk job, your BMR is going to be lower. You're not going to burn as much, right? Because you're sitting all day. But if you kind of are walking around or standing, your BMR, you're going to burn a little bit more throughout the day. And then if you exercise, even more on top of that. So you basically have to eat in a deficit. You want to create like a 500 calorie deficit, which would be 3,500 calories a week, which 1 pound is equal to 3,500 calories.
Damn, man, this guy just fucking broke it down, man. I love it.
So if you want to lose a pound, you need to have a deficit of 3,500 calories per week. If you want to lose 2 pounds, 7,000 calories a week, because 1 pound of fat is roughly 3,500 calories.
Dude, we gotta get him on with Dr. D. Dr. D. We did a podcast with Dr. D. It was like my I don't know, 6th or 7th podcast we did. He's my guy for peptides, man. And man, the guy you would love. You gotta listen to that podcast. We'll do another one with him.
I know I've been watching a lot of stuff on health and fitness and tracking, and it's like inspiring. Like, so when I first got the app, what I did, I wanted to see how much I was eating before. So I didn't change my diet. So for 1 week, I just wanted to see like where I'm at.
Yeah.
And so I didn't just go all in. I was just curious. And I was like, overeating some days, like 500, 600 calories. And I didn't think I was. I was like, holy shit, like.
Yeah, you won't. Yeah, there's certain foods that are.
And it was sometimes it was like stupid stuff like the oil, olive oil, or, depending on what you're cooking in. But for me, it was like boneless wings, because I love boneless wings, and I would eat those. And the breading also has so much calories on it. And then, that's like 800, that could be 800 calories in like one sitting. And I would be eating that before going to bed. It's just crazy. And then you track it. And now I'm like going after more whole foods, like grilled chicken. Like I don't even really eat fried anymore. Chick-fil-A, I eat the grilled chicken, because you can eat more and it fills you up. Like you can go and get like a 30-count Chick-fil-A. Think about this, a 30-count grilled Chick-fil-A nugget. See if I know this. You should actually Google this right now. Top of my head, I want to say it's like 595 calories. It should be under 600 calories, a 30-count. You can look it up though. So somewhere around that. I'm curious to see what actually.
Yeah, that's what he says. That's crazy.
It should be under
man.
600.
I love it, man. I love that you're so into it.
Yeah,
I feel like as fucking performance markers and people these are like KPIs, the same shit.
Yeah.
You know the KPI, a person, you gotta know your own shit.
Only 470? That's lower than I thought.
Yeah, but they could also, you put like a sauce on it.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking with sauce.
Yeah, the sauce.
I can't eat it.
7 grams of protein.
Think about this, and think 30 pieces of grilled nuggets, and then you even add some sauce, less than 600 calories. That thing's going to keep you full for a long time.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Crazy. Yeah, sure.
2 grams of carb.
Now, if you do the fried chicken they have, I think it's like double that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So see the big difference.
Dude, I love it, man. I was going to talk about this. This is fucking great.
No, this will be the main center of the podcast.
No, it's a big thing, guys. It's one of the passions. So we're gonna, guys. We got LFG coming. We got a Telegram group coming on deck pretty soon. We'll get you in that fucking thing. End of the week, early next week. Adam Young's on my ass every day, cursing me out. Dave, where's the fucking Telegram group? It's coming, guys. But bro, one of the things in the Telegram group, and I'm thinking maybe we'll have different silos, right? We have performance marketing. We might have a nutrition.
We should be one for you.
Yeah, because it's so important, and I think that, like you said, a lot of people that financially successful, but man, their health is terrible, and then they want to leave with us at an early age, or not to get in this aspect, but even like with drugs and shit like that, like overdosing, like the fuck, man, like what's it all worth at the end of the day, like for that to take your life? Like, you can control these things; they're controllable.
Yeah. They are. Yeah, no, it is. And it's just like people, like even if people don't want to like work out, going back to nutrition, like it's literally comes down to what you eat.
Yeah.
Like you can literally lose weight just by nutrition alone. Like I said, it's probably 90% diet and then 10% exercise.
Yeah.
Because think about this, how many calories can you actually burn if you're an hour at a gym, right? If you're doing pure
bro.
cardio, you might be able to burn 500 or 600 calories.
Yeah, it's a lot less than you would think. You feel like you drench yourself. You think, oh, I lost 800, 1,000 calories.
Versus
And it
how
wasn't
hard
even
is
half
it?
of that. Yeah.
How hard is it to just create that deficit
Oh,
food? Way
yeah,
easier, right?
100%. Yeah, it's more controllable, man. That's what it comes down to.
One candy bar.
But you need to do both because I think it's good. Cardio is good for your heart, and then strength training is good. You want to build muscle,
Yeah.
and then the more muscle mass you have, the more you burn at rest too, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, I love you talked about this because we talked about, the lead gen side, fueling the agency side, right? We talked about monetizing the data, right, to squeeze more juice, like the butcher scenario, right?
yeah,
And now we're talking about the health aspect, but it's all it's all connected.
it's
At the end of the day.
optimizing.
Yeah, 'cause you're optimized, right? And then when you're feeling good, well, I'm gonna maybe too much information kind of stuff, but we had a lot of man, the last month in Miami, everyone the mothers was coming here. And bro, I was going Tuesday nights, Wednesday night, taking people out. And bro, I can tell you what, man, I was going out too much. I was getting home late, over drinking. I threw myself off, and I can tell my production wasn't the same.
Yeah,
Like I like to trade stocks. I was on a run. My run went to shit.
Yeah.
It really
you literally are what you eat, and
correct.
what you take. Put
And
your
the lack of sleep too. The lack of sleep to me was
Sleep is
the worst
important,
thing. I had a Whoop, which I fucking lost. But like those days I'm on 1% on the Whoop. The other days I'm on 98%. Guess what? I'm making money trading, my campaigns, everything's fucking working, man.
Yeah.
I'm not as moody. But bro, it's all connected at the end of the day. So when you're mentally there and you feel good, the confidence is there, you take care of your sleep, and you're not doing this fucking
Yeah.
crazy shit, you're gonna make more
everything.
money.
How you feel, it's how you look. I think it's going to give you a boost of confidence.
Yeah.
I think naturally other people, the way they perceive you and they see you, especially in your space. I mean, you do most of the networking, so I
Yeah.
think that's important for you. You want that energy, you want that look. I think it's the trust.
Yeah,
That
100%.
builds too.
Yeah, it's all
It all
connected.
ties together.
Yeah, it's all connected at the end of the day, man. And at the end of the day, optimization is key. Dr. D thinks if you really optimize, you can get to like 130.
Wow.
That's how long you can live, right? And he's convinced he's gonna pass 100. I really think I can make it past 100. I mean, we'll see. Right? And especially with all these advances. We talk about AI and in the way you can measure yourself and see like what foods. I mean, for a while I had a my doctor wanted me to put on the peptides. They wanted me to put a glucose monitor because my blood sugars were low. I was sensitive. It's a lot of like if I eat beans, it would spike my glucose. I had no clue that beans would do that, but some people have sensitivity to certain foods, right? But I had no clue. If it wasn't for that glucose thing, and I was eating a lot of fucking beans, man, like 3-4 days a week. And so I don't have the portion sizes. I cut down dramatically, but
Big
you
difference.
didn't have these sort of measurements or ways to measure this stuff 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. So imagine what it's going to be like a year from now, 2 years from there. Like we really have a chance to bust through 100. Like fucking 60 could be what you at 100 could be what 60 is right now, right?
Yeah.
So these advanced technology, we got to take advantage. Like we know how to track different things online, on Meta and this, that. You can do that with your body and really push the
Absolutely.
needle, man. Push it out.
You can.
Yeah.
It's insane. No, it's exciting. I'm excited about all this stuff. Just
Yeah.
getting into the whole nutrition and health thing. It's been cool. I've been getting targeted with a lot of videos on that now.
I love it. So, all right. Well, the one question I didn't ask when that we went off here, platforms, right? Are there any other platforms? I mean, Meta.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're on Meta, TikTok, YouTube, and we're also getting into like Snapchat as well. We're trying to be everywhere.
Okay.
And I think especially after Geek Out, I know they talked about different platforms, right? From
Yeah.
what I heard from Manny. But we've always been on Meta. We've always been on TikTok. YouTube, we've been on YouTube, but we just had like a lot of ups and downs, account bans. So I think we find another provider that's been really good for us.
Hmm.
And then now we're getting on Snapchat.
Okay.
Obviously, the more platforms you're on, the better. You can reach more people, different CPMs, more stability. But the biggest platform for us by far is definitely Meta. Meta number one, and then TikTok is second.
Got it. I hear Snapchat making like a I know back when I first got into the industry back in 2016, Snapchat was huge for debt. I knew guys are putting a big number. I don't know if I would like to say I could be wrong, like maybe 2017 to 2020.
Yeah.
Right. Then it sounds like not as much, but I feel like recently it's been making a comeback.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it has. Now there's more people running on Snapchat. I don't know what type of volume they're doing because we just barely got started into it. But
Yeah.
there could be probably not as much volume as Meta. Let's be real, it's not as big of a platform. But I mean, you could probably squeeze, who knows, an extra whatever you're doing on Meta. Maybe you do 20% of that on Snapchat. Squeeze an extra 20% on your bottom line.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of the Day Brothers, they were remember and when solar was popping for us, man. I don't know if this was 2021, 2022. But they were the only ones that are able to crack solar on TikTok. We tried that. We tried that internally.
You told me that, yeah.
Bro, it was fucking great, man. We had a nice run. Then it didn't last forever, but that's when I knew these guys were the real deal.
Yeah.
Because they were the ones, and the numbers they were able to do were, it was like, I was like, man, this is great, you know. So and that people were like shocked because that's when back to when TikTok, everyone associated TikTok with just young, you know, teenagers, like these are
Right.
homeowners, but they were able to make it work, right? So that was so
Hey, you'd be
beautiful.
surprised, you know, you run a Medicare on TikTok, you know, it's like
Yeah,
everyone's kind of everywhere now online.
yeah, for sure. How about Newsbreak? Have you guys done anything in Newsbreak?
We did try, but we didn't have success. But I mean, we didn't really try. We only put up like 1 or 2 campaigns. I wouldn't
Yeah.
call that trying. So I can't say how good the platform is. We haven't put enough like time or effort into it.
Yeah, so we were with Ryan over there. He said that 45 plus is a big demo there and a lot of female audience. And at Geek Out, there was someone who said that they're actually Newsbreak one of their better platforms for Medicare, right? So
Wow.
I think they've been on it for a while though too. They've been
Yeah,
testing it.
I think when you get into a platform, you kind of master the platform. That's more of what the media buyers do. Like they get on a platform, they master how they launch the ads, and you know what I mean. I think it just comes down to spending time.
Yeah,
They're just so used to. I think our media buyers are so good at Meta because that's where they started and that's where they've scaled the most.
yeah, that's what they know.
So they know, you know.
Yeah, they know it, man. How about all these different changes, these algorithms? I know Andromeda a few weeks
Yeah.
ago put shit and I should have done that. When I did that Newsbreak ad, I should have said, Andromeda fucking up your money barometer. I thought about that later, man. But how did that all affect you? And
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of changes. I mean, at the end of the day, it really comes down. I still think it comes down to creative, right? There could be a million algorithm changes, but at the end of the day, if you have good creatives, it's going to come through. It's going to come through the surface no matter what, you know?
yeah,
I hear about all these algorithm changes ever since I've started in 2015, and I've ignored a lot of them because it's like if you have a good creative, it doesn't matter. Like the platforms, all they really care about is the user experience.
yeah.
So if you have a good creative that's engaging, that gets people's attention, you're going to be able to scale. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
I love
That's all it's always been.
spoken like a true OG right there. And you're right. I mean, you know what it is? It's like fucking people like to blame things, right?
People love to blame things when
Yeah.
it's like you're gotta sometimes look and see, well, you know, they like to, when something's going good and then it's going bad, they're like, oh, it's probably because there's an algorithm change, or oh, you know, maybe maybe Facebook's having some updates or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, usually it's just like it's never that. I mean, there could be legitimate outages. I mean, there was an AWS outage that did actually affect things, like that was legitimate, but um for the most part, like, yeah, it's just gonna come down to your creative, man. There's no
Dude,
excuses.
I love it. It's like politics, right? I mean, people will be, oh, this person won, the fucking country's going to shit, or this and that. Bro, at the end of the day, fucking figure it out. Get creative. Get
Yeah.
creative, figure
Get
it out.
creative,
There's
make
pros,
creatives.
this kind, yeah, get creative, make creative.
That can be a new slogan for us, Dave.
yeah, for real.
Get creative. I might make a shirt like that now. Get creative, make creatives.
Yeah, it's true. Get creative. I love
That's creatives.
I think, and you're right about that, man, because that's what it comes down to. But I hear all these people complaining, and then we started complaining too, like, oh man, and I honestly, I probably shouldn't have stayed, but you you can use it with the fucking with your buyers, right? Yeah, this algorithm changed, that happened, blah 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 blah, blah, right? To
Oh,
buy
I
yourself
mean,
some time.
sometimes we do it the buyers, you know, that's, well, cut this part out. Cut this part out. But on the back end, we're like, oh, you know, yeah, it's, you know, the quality was bad today. Oh, yes, you're probably the creators, but yeah, cut this out. We'll blame it on the platforms. Oh, maybe the platform
Yeah,
was
fuck those guys. But no, that's awesome, bro. And I don't want to say, you know, I feel like, I mean, I think the people in the industry that really have been doing this for a while, they know who you are. Like you're very well respected, but you're kind of like under the radar, man. Like you go to some shows here and there, right? So like when people see you, I think they, and like when I was in Chicago at one of the lead gen world on the Leads Con, and that's when I had good success with the Day Brothers. So when Peter Day saw you, he lit up, man. He was like, man, he thanked you for helping him in his career and everything. And I'm like, wow. And then that made me listen. I thought highly of you through Manny, but I mean, we're like, wow, man. The fact that, you know, these guys, I made some good money with them, and they're looked at really high, well respected, and they're looking at you up on that level. I mean, it says a lot, right? So I think I'm glad that you know spent some time with us here and shared with the audience.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next conference. What's the next one, anyways? Is it?
What do they have? They have affiliate one in Bangkok. I can't make it, but Chance will be there. You have in San Diego.
I don't do too many international. I mostly like to stay.
Yeah, they have in January Lead Gen World.
And then they have Affiliate Summit West too, right?
Affiliate Summit West is after that. Then you got Leads Con in March. We'll probably be doing, and then Affiliate Takeover will be in Miami in March. I think March 19th. We're gonna figure out a Columbia Con. It's gonna happen again, probably Q1, end of Q1, early Q2.
I might go to that again.
Yeah, Claude,
That's a good one.
this one's going to be our best one yet. The last one we had 45 people flew out, man. We underpriced that one too. This one will be a little bit more expensive. A lot of value, man. You guys rolled back the fucking curtain. You guys showed your creatives. You had people taking it. It was crazy, man. That alone was worth it, man.
Yeah. No, I want to go again. I'll go to that one.
Yeah, Anchor was investments that got up 50% to 200%.
That was probably one of my favorite. Honestly, that was like, no joke, that was one of my favorite events. I like because it was smaller, more tight knit, and then just the people in the room, the caliber of the people in the room. Kind of like I said when you interviewed me last time, like, yeah, that's where you want to be. Sometimes these bigger events, you're just kind of like mixed in with everybody.
You get lost.
You got to filter. You got to filter, right?
Yeah.
It's like going through a funnel.
Yeah, and just so you know what we did for ColumbiaCon, not everyone could go there, man. We had if you recall, there was we had to filter them out. There was a questionnaire where we vetted them, right?
Yeah.
And we only wanted like high level media buyers. It wasn't high level. We had also people that were like good people that were growing, and we felt that they could get value out of them. But I've heard a lot of good things about it, and we're gonna do it again. We'll keep it tight. I think we won't exceed 50 people. Maybe keep it 30 to 50, somewhere around that range. But that'll be a good one. But I can't emphasize the Masterminds enough, man. You get together with these, like you said, alone time, and you're in a house or a mansion, right? And for like 3 days with someone that's, done. We had someone $900,000 ad spend in one day. Remember that one?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Robbie or something.
Yeah, true. That was crazy.
Yeah.
And to see like guys there that were like,
Everyone perked up when he said that.
everyone perked up.
The room went for people like dozing off to like. I was locking around when the moment he said his numbers, everyone was like,
Bro, and he wouldn't, the guy, like he let me, I took a picture with him, but he didn't want me to post it online. I mean, that's the kind of people you'll find. These guys aren't at the leads cons, at those, they've already made their money, and they know moments like that.
They know what they're doing, and they're under the radar. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the value of that stuff. But yeah, we appreciate the shout out, man. Anything we didn't cover that you want to touch upon?
No, I mean, this has been awesome. We got an hour and 33 minutes of content.
Man, we went fucking deep, man. I didn't expect.
I'm looking at the time right now.
I thought we'd do 45 minutes, maybe to an hour.
A life story in an hour.
Yeah, Jesus, man, that was great.
Well, I grew up on a farm. No, I didn't.
All right, good. So Chris Groves, leads icon, better ways, fucking nutritional expert now, tracking big shit.
I want to say expert, but
Yeah,
on
no, but
my way.
You're on your way. We'll put his how you can contact him over there. Let's fucking go. Good shit, my man. I appreciate you. Your network is your net worth. We got a fucking crazy network of people. I'm not talking about your average motherfuckers. I'm talking about people doing $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a day in ad spend. People that have made billions of dollars in sales. People that exit their companies for about $1 billion. We hit 100 episodes. Guess what? We're about to take shit to the next level. So you want to be part of it? Subscribe right now. Remember, no money, no honey. Let's fucking go.